Hi, hello. I'm Tomasz Gadomski, legal expert at 11 Studios, and I wanted, first of all, to thank you for coming here to hear a legal talk. Secondly, I wanted to thank Dotlo for hosting me. And last but not least, I would like to thank my company, 11 Studios, for encouraging us to share our knowledge with you guys. So, to start up with a joke, because this is the way to go, I had a nightmare today, and this is a real one. Actually, I shared this one before with some of my colleagues here. I had a nightmare that today I'm having a presentation about contemporary Spanish paintings. And I'm going to give it in English, and I had in my mind a slide about a painting that I had no knowledge about. And I knew in my mind while sleeping that everyone has seen that slide and I cannot skip the slide because everybody will notice. So if you notice any slide that I'm skipping, it's just because of the fact that I'm running out of time, not because of the fact that I don't know what it is about, okay? So today, actually, we are talking about finders keepers. What's up with the title? The title actually is a part of a saying, English one. And the saying is actually telling us that whatever comes through our way is ours, and we can keep it. But, and this may apply to free IP, but do you know the other half of the saying? The other, no hands rose, so losers, weepers. And this talk will be about how we do not want to be the losers that are weeping if we encounter free IP. Of course, I twisted the meaning because the losers, weepers is the one that loses the IP. But what actually I want to tell you about is that we don't want to be losers, weepers when we encounter free IP. So finders, keepers in mind, losers, weepers we want not to be. Fine print. What this talk will not be about. It will not be about rulings, legal theories, interlegal disputes, and the future of AI versus copyright. This is not what we are talking about. Another fine print that is not mentioned here, all of these examples are for you to know how to handle them, but not necessarily for you to use them. So you always have to keep in mind that this is an example that should or be verified in the future. What are game developers scared of the most? Any ideas?
Don't get
money. Yes, you are leading us in a good way. They are scared of that. That the game that they are producing, the game that they are putting effort and money in, will be taken off the store. This is actually an example that was actually 2 years ago. It's a Soviet city builder. And it was taken because one of the fans claimed they used his idea to give a DLC or prepare a DLC. And it was taken off a store. And because of if it was taken off a store, then, as you have said, no one received their money. So this is what we have to keep in mind while thinking about free IP, that when we are using it, the end game is, if we use it correctly, that our game stays in the store or does not stay in the store. So what's the main issue in creating game or game as a product of IP? This is actually one of ours that we published recently, the Thaumaturge. I am actually really looking forward to a console version, which is prepared. So the main issue with computer games is their complexity. This is a screenshot of the game, and to show you how complex is our game is the fact that we are actually setting this game in an actual city that has actual buildings. Some of them, of course, meet on the turn of 19th and 20th century. But to give you the atmosphere of the game, our developer used real names or tried to. So you have Kurier Warszawski, which may be a brand, which may be a name, but to give you the immersed feeling of the game, we have to set it in the world. So if we are producing a product for a player, we want to keep it real. we want to use logos, of course, depending on the gameplay. So the main problem of computer games, but the main attraction as well, is the complexity. This is another example. This is Torgal, one of the protagonists of the comic books, and this is the original Torgal game that everyone forgot about. So the complexity of the game is the amount of IP we are putting in, not only the one we develop, but as well the one we acquire. And this is only a part of game content. We have script, engine, image, voiceovers, textures, models, soundtrack, sound, logos, trademark, Easter eggs, my favorite part, and collabs, the one that is coming. And this is all IP. And don't get me wrong, I'm a lawyer. And if I could say, oh, we do not have to write any of these agreements, we can just use free IP, I will be out of work. So of course I will tell you we should have an agreement. But maybe some of the parts we can skip using free IP. And this is what we will talk about today. Actually, we have 4 segments. Free versus paid tools. This will be some workshop for you to wake up. Then free licenses, public domain, and state in geo-generated content. All of those examples, thanks to my teammates in 11-bit studios who ask me difficult questions. Okay, free versus paid tools. A little contest to wake you up. I will show you a provision and explain it to you if you're a developer. If you are a lawyer, I will explain it in a simple way. And then I will ask you whether you think this is a provision for paid tool or free tool. Removing your content. Basically, this provision says that we create a content with this tool. And for whatever reason, this content that we created using the tool is published via this tool. If the content breaches any law, or we decide that we don't want to share this content anymore, this provision says that the tool provider may not necessarily take down the content whenever we ask them to. And what's the application? If for whatever reason the content created infringes right, and we are in doubt whether this is true or not, we want to have this content taken down ASAP. And this tool we used says they have actually no time limitation to take down the content. So this may be a very hurtful provision for you while using this tool. So the question is now, is it, do you think, paid tool that you pay and should protect you, terms and conditions, or free tool? Unfortunately not. Yes, this is Adobe Creative Cloud. They actually ask you as well to indemnify Adobe and any subsidiaries. So indemnify means that you have to pay any remuneration or any claim that actually Adobe suffers while you were using the tool to, back to Adobe. So this is actually a provision from Adobe Creative Cloud, paid tool that actually doesn't give you any guarantees regarding your content and taking it down. Another example. This is Anthropic, and the provisions says that you may, without your consent actually, may share your logo and tell other clients that you have been using this tool. Okay, maybe I don't want anyone to know that I was using this tool to create my game or whatever. This is actually beneficial to QA, maybe beneficial to QA application. So basically they say, without your consent or without actually consulting you, they may show your logo as their client. Do you think this is free or paid tool? I really love you that you said free for discussion says. This is paid tool actually. Oh, sorry, this way. Oh, this is the painting, sorry. This is the Spanish painting. Okay, customer content. So we actually established this is a paid tool. So you may see that those provisions are a bit less harsh for the user than the free tool. So basically they protect your content, and Anthropic may not train models on customer content from paid services. And this is crucial for you. So this is a very rare instance when a tool actually says that whatever you make with that tool and whatever you provide that tool will be not used to train future models. And if you want to keep things confidential, if you, for example, if you are feeding the model with scenes of your games, this is very crucial for you because it says it may be kept confidential under the terms and conditions because it's actually paid. So, of course, there is something in reverse than in Adobe. They actually will take care in not legal, it's not a legal term, of the claims that was generated by the content. So this is the benefit of a paid tool, Anthropic. Of course, they have a free version of this tool, and the terms and conditions differ a bit. In the end, you can see, this is a very legalish provision, that they start, we will not train our model with your content, but then after the end of the sentence, there are two very wide circumstances, I'm not presenting them, when actually they may train the engine with your content. So bear in mind that if you tend to use a free tool, sometimes it may be, it's not maybe beneficial for your ERP. Of course, this is my favorite actually, limitation of liability. In any instance, if you're using a free tool, it's only 100 euros. So if anything goes boom, only 100 euros you can get from the owner of the app. Oh, last but not least, stocks, free stocks, pixels. They offer content as is, so actually no warranties. Of course, there is human factor. We will not be talking about DaVinci. The human factor is if you prompt the AI wrong, you will get wrong results. So if you prompt AI, I want a Mario Bros, you will receive a Mario Bros. No one is taking care of that and responsibility for that. Focus points. Read terms and conditions always. Don't use shortcuts. Paid tools tend to consider well-being of your IP, not only the providers. And watch out, even respectable tools brands may impose risky conditions. This was the segment of free tools, and now free licenses. Everybody knows Wikipedia. I even go to Wikipedia if I have a difficult question. And this is a question from a movie market, actually. Do you know what this is? This is actually a logo, and I had been asked a question about this logo. This is a logo of a half fictional, half true society in Germany at the verge of the Second World War. And I was asked whether in a movie this logo can be used. And I said, well, we should track the chain of title of that logo. And I received a very honest answer. It's no Wikipedia. We can use it, of course. So I went to Wikipedia. And sometimes the job of a lawyer can be funny because I was playing a detective. So this is licensing on Wikipedia. You are free to share, remix until you provide attribution, yes? So basically, I should have stopped here and said, yes, you can use it. But well, there is author, real Gesellschaft. This is a non-existent entity. So basically, so if you are non-existent, I cannot track the author. If I cannot track the author, I should not recommend using this free tool because I don't know whether it was posted on Wikipedia with his consent. So I could imagine that even though it's on Wikipedia and someone played a joke because the article says about non-existent society and the author is non-existent society, he may in the end turn to my clients and says, you are using the logo without consent. So even though something is under Creative Commons, you have to be secure, a license, you have to be secure to be sure that that you know the author and that no one will come to you and said, actually, someone without me knowing posted it on Wikipedia or under Creative Commons licenses. So what's the main problem with, apart from that, with free licenses? They may change with time. If you accept a license, you accept actually other legal system terms and conditions. And in this terms and conditions, and other legal system, it may be stated that license may change with time, like Dungeons and Dragons tried to do with their license to use their mechanics, to be paid by users. So this is another point of focus for you while using free licenses. And to sum up, sometimes you may be forced to share your game for free. It's under the Creative Commons license. Sometimes you can be forced to do that. You have to always secure that you know the chain of title, so you know who you are getting the free license from. And watch out, terms may change with time. Public domain. This should be easy, but it's not. Do you know what this is? This is an example of Razzie Award, and this movie received Razzie last year. It was made because Winnie the Pooh went into public domain. So if something went to public domain, this is a legal term, in general meaning that the protection of law ceased to exist because, for example, of pass of time. In Poland, it's 70 years from the death of the author. In United States, it's usually 90 years after the first public release. So whenever this law is applied and something enters the public domain, you may use it for free. And this is the free IP you can find online. However, you should bear in mind different legal systems may apply different rules. This actually has happened to Mickey Mouse, the first version. If you remake if you have newer versions in mind, they are still protected. However, I will show you a very interesting example if you are wishing to make a game set in the 50s. This is it. What do you think those two pictures have in common? I haven't checked the chain of title, so I don't know. I'm just quoting the pictures. So they are set in the 50s in Poland. And if in the 50s in Poland, a different copyright was into force. And this copyright showed and said that any picture made during when this law applied was free of copyright, unless someone on the back wrote, I protect this as my copyright. So basically, this law said that any picture that does not have this disclaimer is in public domain. And once it entered in public domain, it can be used. Of course, it is to be verified, always. But I can imagine that, for example, in Warsaw, there is this multimedia exhibition, and they are using immersive pictures. All of that, if they set right the pictures in the 50s, may be for you to use. So those are focus points for public domain. Different legal regimes may define public domain differently. This is what we have said, Poland versus United States. There is a different amount of years to limit the copyright. Law changes, but what once got into public domain usually stays there. This is true. So even though the copyright from the 50s does not apply anymore, any picture that entered into public domain during the copyright when it was into force is still in the public domain. Watch out, special regulations. Some of the countries used to protect the IP. For example, after the Second World War, when many authors died, some of the countries extended the statute of limitations for more than 70 years from the presumed death of the people during the Second World War. Last but not least, and this is something that may be very interesting to you, how we can use state and geo-generated content, or if we may ever use them. This is an example that I acquired due to my team question. This is a map. We wanted to use this map in our game. And of course, I was asked whether we can use it freely. And this is another time when I did some detective job. This map is from the 17th century, so the statute of limitation shouldn't apply because it has already entered the public domain. But it was actually digitalized, and we wanted to use the digitalized copy. So because of the map was in Italy on German side, yes, this is possible. Map was in Italy, and the site was by German Foundation. I had to ask whether we can use that map, because on this site, I'm not an expert in Italian, neither German law. It said that this map, the digital version, is protected. I didn't know whether it's for sure, but I asked. And they said, no, we cannot use that map. If I were in Poland, I would argue whether we can use it or not. But even here, with this German map and Roman one, we were refused, decline the possibility of using it. Another example that I got, oh, do you know what LiDAR is? It's a very interesting example. Do you know what it is? It's a way to map something with the laser. So basically, every country makes maps with LiDAR, and they are posted on different web pages. For example, Polish portal has their own web page, Swiss portal has their own web page, Slovakian portal has their own web page. And the question was whether we can use those maps or not. And imagine what, every site, even though we are three of the countries are in Europe and two of the countries are in European Union, every of the site had a different disclaimer about on how to use those maps. So basically, in Poland, they said it is not protected under copyright. Use it freely. In Slovakia, they said this is under Creative Commons, so just attribute us our name. And in Switzerland, actually, I don't know what they said in Switzerland. It was something strange, but you actually need to know that even though this is the same item of free IP that you would think you may use freely, in every jurisdiction, it may be applied to different rules. This is Polish side. So in Poland, you may use it freely, it's not protected under copyright. Focus point. There is a vast content generated by public domain or NGOs. There is you can use old birth certificates to create names and family names. You may use maps that were created by public officials, so you use it actually for free. But those rules apply to you when you use this free IP. Different entity may apply different rules to the same kind of content. This is what we talked about maps. Every domain may have different approach. As I said, Polish domain said it's not under copyright. Slovakian domain said it's protected under the copyright. No one attributed the right to databases. No one even mentioned that on those sites. Maybe they don't know that such a law exists. And watch out, it's not only copyright matter. This is as well database matter. So this is basically it. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions?
Hi, thanks for the presentation. It was very interesting. I have a question because when talking about IP, as far as I'm concerned, there are many different laws that will be regulating that. So you're mentioning copyright, but then there would be trademarks. And for example, the Winnie the Pooh example. So when it went to public domain, my understanding was that from then we can just publish the whole book. But making a movie titled Winnie the Pooh,
you have to verify whether Winnie the Pooh is a trademark.
Yeah, that's my point, because probably it's still protected by Disney, right? So you probably still can't do it.
It may be or maybe not. I don't know whether this movie was Disney, but I believe it was not made by Disney because it was an independent movie. That's why I believe if they didn't use the trademark, that was actually because title is other thing. So if you are using a book and a title that enter public domain, you should be free to use them, unless someone registered trademark, but the trademark would be imaginative one, like with an image. So maybe there was no collision to that, but I haven't verified that because it was above of the scope of this talk. But yes, you should bear in mind different kinds of laws: copyright, trademarks, databases, if you're using databases. This was actually a guide how to use free tools and free IP without getting burned in the process.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Thank you.
And other questions?
Hey, hey, Tomasz. Thanks for the presentation. I had a question like on the topic of maybe like reusing original copyrighted content. So let's say you showed us a copyrighted map, and what happens if I like completely redraw it, like pixel by pixel, and then I get like change 30% of it? So is it like original content, or is it still under copyright law?
In Poland and most of continental Europe, there is no rule of how many percent we change. If we can track back to the changes you have made, you may still be infringing the original version.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
And maybe one more, if any. Okay.
So thank you for the presentation as well. One question I had was regarding the map thing.
Yeah.
The map problem. I didn't quite understand it. Like what happened? Like the map was supposed to be of Rome, right?
Yeah.
But it was in German.
The map, we wanted to use the map in a game as a picture. And it was from the 17th century. So basically, if you apply the strictest rules, it should have entered the public domain.
Right, because of time, right?
Yeah. But because of I'm not an expert in German law, but they said that because of the fact that it was digitalized, the digitalized version is still protected.
Okay.
And no one apart from the fact that I would love to go to Rome and scan that map for myself, no one had time nor money to make that trip.
Okay, now it makes sense.
Okay.
Also, what is your favorite contemporary Spanish painting?
Like, okay, there is no contemporary Spanish painting in Poland, but there is one old one, El Greco, by El Greco, and this is the one I like because it's close.
Thank you.
Thank you.